Hey Sagittarius, welcome to my channel, Sarah Angel Tarot. Thanks for joining me. Also welcome cross watchers. So this will be a general Sarah daily love reading for the sign of Sagittarius for September 2025. These are general and collective messages, you know, take it how it resonates. Please like, subscribe to my channel, hit the notification. Okay, so what are the love messages for Sagittarius for September 2025? Okay. 8 of Wands, could be dealing with a fellow fire sign. Okay, so you could be waiting to hear news from someone or news about something. Ooh, okay. 5 of Cups. Maybe you're waiting for something and you're sad and you think it's not going to come, you know, it's not going to happen, the news won't come in. Or you're sad that you won't hear from someone, you know, maybe someone's got communication problems, because I feel that my throat is sore and blocked at the moment, so someone could have communication problems. So far it looks like someone's in sorrow, sad, guilty conscience, feeling remorseful. They could have had a wake-up call, a reality check. Someone could have alcohol dependency, could be dealing with a water sign, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. Ooh. Okay. Any more for Sagittarius? Any more for Sagittarius? What about the 5 of Cups for Sagittarius? Whoa, okay. Okay, could be dealing with a Cancer. Tell me more about this Chariot. Wow. Okay. So it's like some of you might have been on the point of giving up. You know, maybe, if that's the case. And then, you know, the good news is coming in. Yeah? Someone here is quite highly driven, they're full of willpower, highly energetic. Maybe someone's alcohol dependent, they could be fed up of being stuck at home. They can't wait to get out and travel and go out and about. This is about order, structure, you know, balance. Someone here is very highly driven, highly motivated, full of passion. You know, they're driven by desire, you know. Also, this person's big on security. They're quite spiritual. You know, they go with their own voice, you know, the voice within. Okay. So it looks like someone's coming at you quite fast when you least expect it. I think that they're going to catch you off guard. You know, your person might be alcohol dependent. So we've got Justice. Ooh. Someone could have had some sort of karmic justice being served to them. Something could have come back on them and they're sad, realizing the actions, you know, the actions come with consequences. So we've got the card of Libra. So you could be dealing with a Libra. Okay. Okay. Queen of Pentacles. So maybe somebody's working on balance. I did say that with the Chariot. Balance, order, structure. Feeling grounded, feeling centered. Maintaining balance. You know, maintaining peace of mind. Someone here could be setting boundaries, standing their ground. You know, someone here might be wanting to hear the truth, but they're not getting it. You know. But they are thinking about it. Yeah, there's definitely some, oh, wow. And I just said that as well, guys. It's like the tip of the tongue. What, my intuition, wow. The power of intuition. Okay, guys. So far, it looks like whoever you're dealing with, it could be an air sign, it could be a fellow fire sign, it could be a Taurus, Capricorn or a Virgo, it could be a Cancer, Pisces or a Scorpio. Some sort of karmic justice has come back on them. Maybe in the past, your person was impulsive, in and out. They couldn't, you know, stand in one place, if you know what I mean. You know, maybe they had material dependency. But because of the Wheel of Fortune and the Justice card, something's come back, karma. You know, and this person's sad. Look, they're drowning in sorrow. They're not acknowledging what's going on around them. They're just letting their life float by. Guilty, sad, alone, you know. It's like everything's coming at them, but they're not seeing anything around them. It's like they're blocking out abundance and blessings and, you know, maybe the universe has come around to give them a second chance, but they just can't see it. You know, this person is just kind of feeling sorry for themselves. I can see that they've got genuine remorse here, genuine regret. You know, they're very sad, there's cups on the floor, crying over spilt milk sort of thing, or spilt water. But they can't see, look, there's still hope here. Look, they've been given a second chance. You know, yes, they've served some sort of karmic justice, you know, but the universe has stepped in and said, look, get back up. There's 2 cups there, look. There's still time. You can put this right. The universe has given you a second chance, you know. Whoa. This person's quite nervous. They're not good with communication. Can't even pick up the card. Okay. Hang on a sec. Tell me more, please. Any more messages for Sagittarius? Okay, I do believe that this person doesn't realise that they've got a second chance. Could be you. You could be quite guarded, quite closed off, quite sharp with your words. You could be setting, you know, standing your ground, setting boundaries. Maybe you've got air energy in your chart. With this Queen of Pentacles, someone here guarding something. Could be finances. You know, maybe you think somebody only wants you for money, to fund an alcohol habit. She's quite sensitive. She's very grounded. You know, she's focused on her finances. You know, she's sensible with her finances, right? It's like somebody's guarding something. Yeah? They're protecting themselves. Yeah? Now, someone could be spying on someone's social media. You've got the Page of Swords, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. I feel that this person, they're quite closed off emotionally. Their heart is closed, their throat's closed, because I feel that my throat's gone a bit sore. Like I said, they've got their guard up. Look, they're protecting themselves. That, you know, they don't show emotion. Maybe something is clouding their judgment, such as alcohol or something or someone. There's a lot of spying going on. Hang on a sec. There's a lot of spying on, they're very vigilant, guarded and closed off. That's what I feel here. It could be you, but I feel that this is your person. Someone here is guarding their finances as well, protecting their assets. That's what I feel here, Sagittarius. 3 of Swords. Ooh, yeah, someone is suffering heartbreak, emotional turmoil, betrayal. You know, someone could have backstabbed someone, betrayed them with money. Definitely third party situation is a possibility here. Someone could feel guilty about going to a third party situation and now they wish they didn't, and that's why karmic justice is here. Also, I see this Sagittarius as, if your person's involved with an earth sign, maybe she's holding on to him for his money, he or she, their money, materialistic things, power, you know. But someone's got their guard up. Look, they've got their guard up. Tell me more about the 3 of Swords. Oh, okay, I need more please for Sagittarius. Hang on a sec. There's too many trying to come out. There's too much thinking going on. You know, the King of Wands, he is similar. You know, he's driven by desire, he's fiery, he's passionate, he's creative, making decisions, being creative. He's similar to the Queen of Wands. You know, so we've got the King of Wands making a decision. I feel like this person's just sitting and not doing anything at the moment. You could have a fellow person, a new person coming in, fellow fire sign. You could have a new fire sign coming in. It could be the same person and they're trying to get themselves together, you know, create some sort of structure and balance for themselves. But I feel that someone here, they want to let their guard down, but maybe they're afraid that it's too late and that they've lost you and they're grieving. Maybe they're grieving an old life, wishing that they didn't go into a third party situation. Maybe they're around a fire sign. This King of Wands could be the third person. Yeah? Could be you, standing your ground. Anyone in this King of Wands, please, for Sagittarius? although he can be a bit impulsive and manipulative, the King of Wands. He's all about the decisions and, you know, being in charge, and, you know, he can be all over the place between two worlds. Okay, can you tell me more about this King of Wands? Tell me more about this King of Wands. Someone's definitely serving some sort of painful truth, painful revelation, karmic justice. Something's come back on them. It's like they've had a taste of their own medicine and they don't like it. They're really sad, you know. Oh. Okay. Any more, please, for Sagittarius? He is creative, but he takes quite long to make a decision. Okay, this King of Wands. So we've got Two of Cups. So it could be the same person. You know, they've wised up. They've, you know, they've changed. They've evolved. They've come to their senses. You know, and you know they want this Two of Cups with you. This union. This companionship. This beautiful blossoming connection. The strong, powerful chemistry. You know, some of you could be getting married. You could be getting engaged. Someone's craving passion and intimacy with you. Yeah. Could be a third party situation in the way here, Sagittarius. You know, it is natural for you to protect yourself and put your guard up. It is natural. It's your instincts. You know, you do what feels right. Your intuition, you know, will guide you into what feels right here. But someone definitely wants some sort of union, some sort of happiness with you, you know, some sort of love connection here. Wow, that just flew out the deck there. So you've got 10 of Pentacles. So someone here could be expecting, or you could have had a baby recently. Okay, so we've got 10 of Pentacles, we've got Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo. Could be dealing with an earth sign. Someone here is very family orientated, wants commitment, wants to provide for you. This person could be very hardworking. They want to seize the moment, seize the day, really like the spark, you know, the chemistry between you. Could be coming up with a creative idea. You know, this is all about family and value and happy home life. It's like someone's craving that, but they just can't see past this. They're not sober at the moment. They're not in the right state of mind. They can't see that there's still hope. Yeah. You know, this is about purchasing a new house, a new car. I picked that up with the Chariot. Someone could be purchasing a new car. You know, you could be coming into some sort of inheritance. You know, you've got the Wheel of Fortune there. Something's going to go in your favour, some sort of luck, some sort of abundance. You could have a relative that wants to come in and help you, that's quite wealthy, investments, business offers. Also, I see this as someone who's big on security. They want to build something with you. You know, build a foundation, build a home, have kids, if this is the case. Some of you could be waiting to, you know, find out if you're going to have a baby, something like that. You know, it's like this person can't get their words out. They struggle with communication, you know. Someone who's very big on family values and, you know, very, very family orientated. Very. You know, it's like you've got someone watching over you, which makes sense because you've got the Page of Swords. You know, it could be a loved one. Maybe someone's missing their family and they're sad, so they've turned to alcohol to block out their pain. Someone wants this happy home life, the stability, you know, positive environment. You know, they could have been craving it since they were little. Finances are good. Definitely some sort of wealthy entrepreneur, business person that wants to come and invest. You could be going into business with someone. Could be a business opportunity. Yeah. Maybe this King of Wands is coming in to, you know, to help you. Okay. Tell me more about the Two of Cups, please. Ooh. Okay, so somebody here needs to surrender, cut their losses. Maybe someone's being stubborn. Maybe they need to cut their losses and walk away from a third party situation, you know, surrender to a connection, surrender to their destiny, and admit, you know, this is what's meant for me, this is my happy place, this is who I'm meant to be with. Embrace their destiny, embrace change. You know, this person could have had problems with commitment and change in the past, fears, commitment problems. Maybe they weren't always open and honest and they left you out in the cold. Five of Swords is cutting your losses and walking away. Ooh. Ooh, speaking of walking away, wow, wow, the power of intuition. Eight of Cups, see, someone could be walking away from a third party situation, see, look, yeah, because it's not emotionally fulfilling to them, you know. Someone could be waiting for the restriction to be lifted so they can go travelling. So they're definitely cutting their losses and walking away here, admitting defeat, surrendering, surrender to the divine, surrender to the connection, and realising that this is for them. You know, there could be maybe they've got moral obligations, family obligations, you know, someone could be buying a dog, you know. Wow. Definitely walking away from something that doesn't serve them and then going towards something better, you know. There's definitely going to be a reconciliation here for a lot of you, are coming back together with someone, but I just feel that they're not in the right frame of mind at the moment. Yeah, they've got to leave something behind. Well, I just said this as well. Intuition's powerful, right guys? And I just said this as well. Look, Death card. See? They need to leave something behind. You know? Some of you could be dealing with a Scorpio. Yeah? Then we've got Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio. It could be an ego thing. Maybe they need to, it's the ego death. Yeah? But they definitely need to walk away from something. Look. Leave something behind, release something that's not good for them. Look, cut their losses, see? So that abundance can flow in. The universe wants to bring in all these blessings, and, you know, maybe that's why this King of Wands is here, is telling you to sort of, you know, be creative, come up with ideas, you know, you can do this, you can see through any fear, any doubt. Someone here has got fear of change. Could have been going on in the past as well. Fear of commitment, fear of change, embracing change, you know, afraid of a new start, afraid to be happy, coming out of a comfort zone, coming out of a materialistic sort of thing. Could be walking away from an earth sign. Yeah, because maybe someone here is obsessed with materialistic things. You know, they've served their karmic justice, they're sad. But, you know, the Eight of Cups and the Death, they need to let something go. They need to surrender something. That's why they're feeling like this. And that's why you're not in union, if this is the case. Because there's something here that they need to let go of. You know, also this could be a rebirth of something. You know. Okay. Okay, can you tell me more about this Death card? Definitely somebody wants a new beginning here. They don't want to dwell on the past. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Tell me more please about this Death card. Yeah, someone needs to go deep inside themselves. Look. The Hermit could be dealing with a Virgo. Someone here needs to go deep inside themselves. Look. Go within, gain clarity, gain momentum, listen to their voice within, go with their own judgment, tap into their intuition. They need to know, or they need to see what's going on around them, you know, the opportunities that they've got here. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. Dawn approaches. Look, it's time to let go. It's time to say bye-bye to an old chapter, bye to an old way of thinking, bye to an old life. Ego death, yeah? Someone's sad, they're in isolation, overthinking, you know, reflecting, You could be on a spiritual journey. You could be going on a spiritual journey, look. Yeah? Going it alone, you know. Someone who's really had a lot of time to think, you know, to embrace change, leave something behind that's not good for you and walk away. Cut their losses, look. Maybe somebody's family needs them and they're sad because they can't provide for their family or see their family or their children, and they're sad before they can go travelling. You know, they need to know, look, they need reassurance, they need peace of mind. I have the power to be creative, manifest new ideas, cut my losses, leave things behind that aren't good for me, it doesn't serve me. If you resist change, you'll continue to be stuck. Yeah? If you embrace change, that's when all the blessings and the abundance come in. You know, it could be you, but I feel that this is your person. You know, they won't let their guard down until they're sure that it's safe to reach out. Maybe they're not showing themselves enough love. You know, maybe they don't value themselves. They could be in a toxic home environment. The Lovers. Yeah, there's definitely more than one person that they're dealing with, third party situation. Also, this could be them realising that you are their twin flame. You are their destiny. You are who they're meant to be with. But they need to leave something behind. That's why they're stuck. Yeah, they need to surrender something. Look, cut their losses, walk away. I feel that somebody's family needs them, but they're too wrapped up in themselves. Yeah, the Lovers, look, got Gemini energy. You know, someone definitely needs to show themselves love. I feel that the universe is stepping in to give this person help, guidance. They're being intuitively guided, look towards the light, to their destiny. Yeah. But someone here is definitely walking away from something that it's just not good for them. You know, doesn't serve them anymore. It's served its purpose. You know, it's time to let that go now. It's time to say goodbye to that old life. Better things are ahead, powerful things. Yeah. Also, this could be your person coming out of this sort of hermit mode, introspection, being guided towards the light and coming towards you, look, to embrace their destiny. Twin flame connection, peaceful resolution, sort things out. Yeah. They want to stop fighting it. They want to surrender, you know, to the connection. Anyone in this Lovers, like reconnecting with a lost love, a twin flame, an old flame, you know. A lot of passion here. This could be a very spiritual connection that you have with your person. Also, you could have a new water sign coming in. There could be two different water signs. You know, the possibilities are endless here, the scenarios. You know, so we've got the Page of Cups. So maybe in the past they were immature, childlike, emotionally withdrawn, you know, too wrapped up in themselves, like I said, childlike, even like a teenager. You know, so you could have a fellow fire sign coming in, you could have two water signs coming in. But somebody here, eventually, they will stop being so closed off and guarded about their feelings, speak their truth, let their guard down, change direction, you know, and stop letting things cloud their judgment. Okay, surrender, cut their losses and walk away from something that's not good for them. Such as not being around people that are materialistic and greedy. You know, this could be you, Sagittarius. You could be very focused on your finances, your profit, structure, balance for yourself. You know, also you could have a new person coming in. Somebody new might have stirred your, you know, your eye, your romantic feelings. A new person, could be a new water sign coming in. You know, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio energy there. Someone that's younger than you, or you're younger than them. But I definitely feel there's an ego death here. Somebody could have been immature, acting like a child, emotionally withdrawn, detached and unavailable, and very heavily codependent on alcohol. You know, or somebody else was funding their alcohol. addiction. Yeah, but someone here is really standing their ground, setting boundaries. Someone is all about the truth and the fairness here. You know, they won't settle for anything less. But in order for you to embrace change, you can't resist change, because otherwise you'll just remain stuck. And that's why you have an epiphany, a wake-up call, and the universe steps in to help you, guide you. You know, you have a lot of time to think, to reflect, to be in tune with your emotions, in tune and in a line with your chakras. Don't be nervous. Heal your heart from any pain, suffering, emotional turmoil. You know, everyone's missing their families. You know, creative ideas. You know. So someone's coming in with this romantic offer, this love proposal. That, you know, it could be the same person. Yeah. He's quite romantic. Page of Cups. You know. Tell me more about this Page of Cups. Tell me more about this Page of Cups. Definitely something old finishing, you know. Something's ending and then something new starting. If only somebody wouldn't resist change. You know, major problems with commitment in the past and huge problems with embracing change and accepting the inevitable, and you know, they just keep resisting it, fighting it. Ah, yes, wow. Someone here is being told not to be a fool. Maybe in the past they were quite foolish. Okay, see the Death card and the Hangman. Look, someone needs to surrender, let something go. You know, it's this alcohol problem, I feel. Maybe they miss going to the pub, something like that. And also, this is about looking at things from a different perspective, a different angle. Such as, don't resist change, embrace change, you know, and then you won't feel stuck anymore, like you're at a dead end. You know, you're just left hanging. Yeah? Looking at things from a different perspective. You know? Taking that leap of faith. Look, embrace change, don't be afraid. A new start, a new chapter. Feeling liberated, you know, travelling. You know, new people are coming in with love offers. You know, in order for you to embrace change, you know, accept change, you know, to let in abundance and blessings from the universe, you have to be open to it. You could be blocking that. You have to be open and ready to receive. You know, you have to match the vibration of your person or the universe, or otherwise you're not ready. Maybe this person's still learning lessons. Someone here is definitely afraid to take a leap. You know, maybe they could be taking the leap of faith, finally, surrendering, cutting their losses, walking away from what doesn't serve them anymore. You know, ready to rebuild bridges with you. Death card, that's about rebuilding old bridges, you know. You know, taking the leap of faith to pursue you, give you a gift. You know, spontaneous, going on a journey, a spiritual journey. Yeah. Ready to embrace your spiritual journey, embrace change. Don't be afraid. Yeah? Accept the inevitable. Look, don't be afraid to embrace change, surrender, let go. Yeah? Because then you make way for better things. For love, for family, for children. Yeah? Don't let third parties get in the way. You know, take charge. Yeah? So it's a matter of someone needs to let something go in order for them to be happy in another chapter of their life. They need to let something go. They need to surrender, cut their losses. Look, whether it's multiple choices, whether it's the ego death, yeah? They want, you know, to be fair to you. You know, they want to bring balance to the situation. You know, if you're dealing with an air sign, you know, air signs, they like to weigh up the pros and cons and the, you know, the possibilities, you know, weigh up their options, you know. Don't be afraid of change. It just brings in better things. You know, I know there's a lot of pain and suffering going on in the world, but there's powerful changes coming in. Better things are coming in. Look. Yeah? See? The universe is on your side. You know, the universe has always got your back. Yeah? Don't be afraid. Let your guard down. You know, don't shut people out. Don't be cold with your feelings. Yeah? He's a risk taker. He's a daredevil, isn't he? Yeah? The universe is on your side. Look, they're guiding you. Embrace change, and then you won't feel so stuck anymore. Yeah? Alright, Sagittarius. So, yeah, I hope that was insightful. I hope it helped. You know, I hope it resonated. Let me know in the comments section. If you're new, give me a like, give me a subscribe. You know, join my channel. If you need to know anything, just give me a like. Just give me an email and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And yeah, and I'll see you again real soon with some more readings, Sagittarius. Peace, love and blessings to you all. Love you all so much.